Hi Aquarius, welcome to your August 2017 reading. I forgot what month it is. I'm at work right now. I work in the mountains, as you can see, and I've had a lot of scheduling issues the last couple of weeks. I've had some personal stuff come up, so I'm shooting your video while I'm at work. And it's kind of raining and it's thundering and my coworker is playing music at the top of the lift over there. So if I shut this video down early and then might have to reconvene at home, but I wanted to at least get something going for your reading, and it's like raining on my equipment right now. So another thing that I'm going to try and do differently is I'm just going to do a reading and get into the astrology part after the reading, just so that I can, kind of gauge where y'all are at more so intuitively, and then kind of give you an astrological breakdown after the reading is done. But I am going to briefly, I do know what's kind of happening with Aquarius regarding the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse happening in our 1st and 7th house. Lunar eclipse, full moon in Aquarius happening in our 1st house, and then the new moon, which is going to be a solar eclipse, which is going to be happening in our 7th house. But let's get into the reading. So Aquarius 2017. Let's see. Wow. Okay. So, Knight of Wands, King of Wands, the Tower, and the King of Pentacles. This was kind of what came up. And I also can't really see the screen very well. So let's see what else is coming up. So Knight of Wands, there's a lot of fire energy, especially with the King of Wands too. There are some fire signs among us, right? We are also in Leo season. We're in fire season. For some reason, I definitely feel that this King of Pentacles represents us. And with the, the lunar eclipse happening in our 1st house, that rebuilding and that regrowth of how we view ourselves, and sort of what we can cultivate and what we can grow, the I am here sort of, aspect of Aquarius, right? Or of the King of Pentacles. It's beginning to rain really hard. I don't know how much longer I can keep my computer out here. Let's see what else comes up for Aquarius for August 2017. Ace of Cups. Yes, right? We have activity happening in that 7th house. And, I see this Knight of Wands and this King of Wands as sort of like this progression or this growth from, this growth or this procession. I don't know if you can see how much it's raining right now. But this development, right? From this flighty kind of Knight of Wands to a more sturdy, stable, archetype. Let's see what else is. So what I may do now that it's raining pretty hard is pull these cards. Yeah. Pull these cards and then see if I can maybe move inside and read the spread inside. Just thought it would be nice to have the mountains as the background. Sometimes I ask for too much. 2 more cards for Aquarius. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. A lot's going on. But give me a second. I'm actually going to take the spread and move it inside, and we're going to finish the reading inside where it's not raining on my computer. Hello, Aquarius. So we're back at my house. Didn't quite find a space inside to shoot the rest of your spread. I still have the cards here. I laid them out as they showed up. And I did not rearrange them. Nothing has changed. We have the Emperor on the bottom. yes, that Aries, I am energy, that I am here, I am right, that this card represents Aries, right? We have these rams here. And that's what's really transforming for us this month, you know, is our concept of self, and what are the old parts of ourselves that we need to let go of, and that we actually need to take power over, and stop saying like, oh, you know, this is just a part of who I am, and like I can't help. No, like you can't help it. This Emperor is like, no, like you can't help it. And sorry, the lighting is now, it's now bad in here in my room. I have this giant light, but then if I turn it off, then you can't see anything. So yeah, it's just like one of those days. Yeah, just the weather got out of hand up on that mountain. And I tried to find a place inside in one of the lift shacks. I work in the mountains in the wintertime. I'm a lifty. I work as a lift operator for a ski resort, so I snowboard around and hang out and pull chairs, and it's pretty fun. And then in the summertime, I do like trail crew work and just try to be outside as much as possible. But you know, the weather is really unpredictable, and so that's like having to go with the flow of what comes up, you know, and letting go of what our expectations are of how things need to turn out, which is something that, you know, Aquarians, we can appear to be really open and really open-minded, but there's actually this very rigid, right? Like as much as we want to portray that this is what's going on this night, right? This openness, and I'm speaking from the experience of being an Aquarius and actually especially in the last couple of months, really recognizing this dynamic within myself, that, you know, I want to see myself and think of myself as this very free spirit, and this, you know, this person, this individual who isn't tied down by anything, and but I really do crave control, right? And this Knight of Wands is, you know, he's clenching his fist. I see this Knight of Wands as definitely, like, when I see this card, I see it, I definitely see it as the controlling ego aspects, right? That can appear with fire signs, that can appear, especially with Leo energy, that ego. And so, you know, with these two, with the Knight of Wands and this King of Wands, you know, there's definitely a lot of fire energy. There is a lot of, you know, there may be people that you are seeing or observing in your life that are fire signs or have a lot of fire energy, that, you know, and as Aquarians, there is this notion of us that is kind of similar to Virgo, but like not really. This idea that like this self-sacrificing kind of, you know, I do not desire to be in the spotlight, very Virgo, Scorpio. I don't want to be in the spotlight, for the sake of the group, you know? I don't want to be in the spotlight for the sake, you know what I mean? Like, it's for the betterment of, you know, I'd rather see the group, my group dynamic, my group beliefs and values be in the spotlight versus me being in the spotlight. But we also, like I said, there's this like back and forth kind of like, are you sure? Because then there is this part of us that we do things, we do kind of like act out sometimes in these ways. Because there is a part of us that, I mean, we're very much still tied to we're still very much tied to our Leo shadow selves, right? Like that other half of us, like that opposite end of us. Because I personally believe that whatever sign you are, you know, also look at what that opposite sign is, because it's that those opposite characteristics of your opposing sign are going to seep out and kind of filter through in different ways. And sometimes in ways that, you know, aren't really comfortable, sometimes in ways that, you know, really shake us up, and ways that we act in that way and we're like, whoa, like, did I Did I just do that? Like, where did that behavior come from? Where did this desire to want to be like front and center come from? Right. And like, where, what's going on, you know? And I definitely feel what I'm picking up on for sure is that, you know, the observing of these fire signs who are okay being in the spotlight, okay being in the limelight, and it's not really vibing with us psychologically. It's not good because the Tower, to me, being a Scorpio card and being, you know, the depths of things unseen and being about, you know, changes that happen abruptly and things that we didn't know that we had within us that then kind of present themselves. So yeah. Fire signs, fire energy that is not very comfortable, and then is causing, you know, this Leo energy is causing some kind of upheaval, some kind of, you know, maybe you have a Leo in your life and this is happening, right? And this is what's going on. But what this is trying to do is it's trying to cultivate a better sense, a more grounded sense of self, and a sense of self that is grounded in things that are actually real and tangible, right? The King of Pentacles being the king of the suit of Pentacles, right? Being the king of the material, being the king of the things that are tangible, the earth, right? Earth, what can we hold? What can we create? What can I possess? Light just turned off. And it's a sensor light. So, you know, what is it, you know, like what needs to happen here, right? And a lot of you know it and feel it. There's like this energy that's being felt, right? And I think that there's a lot of Aquarians have gone through a lot. And I said this in the July video, but last year was not really fun for us, whatsoever. And and there's definitely this vibe of like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this shit anymore. I'm tired. I have no, like, I can't keep doing this. Like this energy is becoming overwhelming. But I do really feel like there is this action towards and this calling towards, like, what are the real parts about yourself that need to be, what are the parts about yourself that you need to wear openly, right? Like this King of Pentacles, he wears, like, he has these grapes that are growing off of him, right? He's wearing, you know, the fruits of his labor, literally and metaphorically, right? For everybody to see. Like, he's wearing the product of his work, the product of his patience and efforts, right? Like he values, right, all these aspects of himself. He's unashamed to wear these grapes that are growing on him. Yeah, definitely fire signs in that, you know, and sometimes fire signs can be very, you know, direct in what they do, that even when they're wrong, there is this confidence about them that it's like, oh, they absolutely believe that they are absolutely right, even when they're wrong, right? And for an Aquarius, right, like part of like the rigidity of our values, right, is that like we want to be open-minded. We want to sort of, you know, see change, and we want to remain sort of tolerant of all these things, but I remember being a kid and reading, like, there were all these different sayings for each sign. Like Aries is I am, right? Pisces is I believe. You know, I don't want to go through all of them, but Aquarius was I know. Like, and that was something that I remember being told as a child. I said all the time, like, I know, Mom, I know. But I really didn't know, you know. But at the same time, the thing that really bothered me the most was when people said that they knew something when they didn't. Like, that was also part of, you know, it's like, why are you saying that you know the answer to something, or that you know how to do something when you really actually don't. Or like, I know deep down inside that you're wrong, but in an effort of wanting to sort of keep peace and like not really go there, you know? Like, I don't really, you know, I don't know, like, I don't really view, and maybe this is just because, you know, this is how I've experienced life, being with my Aquarius sun, but I haven't really experienced a lot of other Aquarians being like these really feisty, you know, we'll say what's on our minds, but not in this very kind of fiery way. And so when we do that, when we actually allow ourselves to be here, and when we actually kind of, instead of pretending or acting in a way that everything is sort of, you know, being aloof, right, or trying to be as detached as possible, that everything's okay, and then when we finally get here, you know, sometimes it creates this sort of reaction. But I want to get clarity on these two fire signs here. What's going on with these, the Knight of Wands and the King of Wands? Why are they both here? Yeah, you know what? Either it's a choice in people. Maybe there are two fire signs, you know, a Leo, an Aries, or a Sagittarius, and there's two, right? There's two people with a lot of fire energy. One sort of, you know, fills that Aquarian desire for, you know, free-spiritedness and non-commitment and fast-moving and fast-pace. And, you know, I don't really I'm not going to be tied down. Maybe you get to travel. Maybe you get to move around with this person. And then there is like another option with another fiery person, right? But a fiery person who might be a little bit more mature, right? A fiery person who would actually maybe sort of demand this of you, and to be in this energy, right? For an Aquarius, like personally for me, this earth energy I love. I also have a lot of earth in my chart, so I see the beauty and the value of the groundedness of earth signs, right? And I also, both my parents are Virgo, so I grew up with two very grounded people, who instilled, you know, the beauty and the importance of structure and responsibility to self and to others, you know? And so that, you know, on one hand, having, you know, an energy or a choice, right? Maybe because it's underneath this Ace of Cups. It's a new opportunity, a new love relationship, a new possibility, which is very possible because we've just had Gemini, or Venus in Gemini, and now we're about to have this, you know, new moon in our 7th house in Leo, right? So we've got some new fiery, creative, expressive beginnings, right, in that 7th house territory. You know, but still, like, and this is something that I definitely also kind of, you know, when I think of Sagittarius and I think of Aquarius, and I just really think of two signs, you know, who have difficulty, and this very well could be a Sagittarius, right? I said travel, there could be travel, right? You know, you're going off together, gallivanting around the world, which can be great, but, you know, and I've said this in a couple videos, but there comes a point in time where even the most free-spirited, even the most non-committal have to refine and define their commitments, right? And I think this King of Wands, I feel that this King of Wands, having, you know, is still a fiery energy, but it's an energy, the King of Wands is more in control of his energy. The King of Wands is knows more of what he wants, and is very clear and direct in his communication. Which, you know, sometimes can shock. I think Aquarians definitely, we are truth speakers, right? Like there is a lot of, we do, you know, we're good at being honest, right? Depending on sort of where we're at. We're good at being honest. We're good at sticking to our values. But what happens when we're also faced with another person who's like, and great, so am I have values too, and here they are, and lays them out for you, you know? And actually might give you that ultimatum, might actually give you that, you know, like, well, you know, if we're going to do this, because this is something that we've wanted. This is something, you know, and you know, go to any reading, right, that's like been on YouTube, and like the last year for Aquarius has been discussions on relationships and love and all of the ideas and the, you know, the ideas and the wants and the standards and the desires that I have for this thing. Like, what are all of these things that I want? And, you know, this person may just have all of these things, right? All of these cups, all of these possibilities that you thought could only exist in the ether. Well, now they're here, but it's like, are you actually willing to like step up to it, you know? And I know this has been, you know, like a theme for me, and I don't even know if it really has to do with me being an Aquarius, but it's like I have all of these hopes and desires that I throw into my vortex. I don't know if anybody else watching this follows like Abraham Hicks, or I like listening to their, you know, YouTube videos, and I get things out of it, right? So I use some of the language, right? So I have all these things in my vortex. I have all these desires, right, that I want to manifest, right? And that I want to create and make a reality in my life, right? And you have all these things: love, career, where I want to live, family, you know, travel plans, spiritual goals that I have for like spiritual growth, right? And then like it comes, right? But it takes work. Like, you don't just get what you want. Like, you don't, like, this also comes with responsibility. This comes with some kind of responsibility, you know? And we just had that full moon in Capricorn in our 12th house, right? And so how are we still carrying forth? Like, are we responsible? Like, do we take responsibility for the things that we create and manifest in our, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not talking about things that are out of our control, right? Like, there are systems, right? Like racism, sexism, homophobia, there are all kinds of fucked up systems that are out of our control. But we do have things that are in our control. We do, you know, we really do. And so this person who's showing up, this fire sign who's showing up, this fiery energy, right? That, you know, and one thing that an Aquarius hates is an ultimatum, right? We always want to be able to kind of have our options open, with this restriction, it's just, restriction is not a good idea to place under, you know, Aquarius, a Sagittarius, a Gemini. It's just not a good idea. Like, you know, some signs can, like, you know, okay, like let me try and work within the bounds of your restrictions, like, you know, some Capricorn energy, but it doesn't roll with us. But maybe that's what we need. Maybe, right, the ultimatum that's presented by this person, by this new by this love interest who, from what I feel, has been around for a while and has kind of been putting up with the bullshit, and also actually has a lot of the characteristics, right, that you like, that you want in a person, right? They don't have one cup. Like, this person has one cup. This has seven. Like, it's a different kind of situation. But with those 7 cups comes, you know, responsibility, and right, like, with that ultimatum of like, okay, like, we can do this. You may have to choose. If you're going to choose me, right, if we're going to do this, there's going to have to be some sort of shift, right? And that shift not being very comfortable, and that actually throwing you off course, you and this person going into opposite separate directions. But I really do feel that if you go with the flow of this energy, and if you allow this energy to just take hold and to kind of just rock your world for a little bit, it might be necessary, because I feel like what this person is asking you to set, they're both kings. They're both on the same level. They're both on the same level. They're both kings, right? So what this person might be asking you to do is to really engage and get in touch with your inner groundedness, your inner king, your inner ruler, your inner whatever, queen, king, right? You can think of these as also queens, right? But they're on the same level. And this person wants you to meet them on their level, right? Because if we're going to ask for all these things, we have to be willing to step up. We have to be willing to actually, and the King of Pentacles does the work. He does the work. He does the physical work that it takes, right? To have all of these things, right? And there's definitely some worry associated with this process, right? Because I think we've been in these two energies for a while, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I know when I was in this energy, right, not too long ago, and especially regarding my expectations in terms of romantic relationships, and just wow, how do I do this thing? And how do I, do it in a way that I'm not constantly here. I'm supposed to be an Aquarius. I'm supposed to be detached. I'm supposed to be aloof and not care, and I'm here, and that doesn't feel what's going on. I'm also, I'm a human, right? My moon is also in Cancer, right? So there's a lot going on for me personally, but not feeling how much longer do we want to really stay, vibing with these energies? These energies can be fun. But like I said, with the full moon happening in the lunar eclipse, right, and the lunar eclipse really being about the shadow aspects of ourselves, the shadow sides of ourselves, the things that need to be illuminated and then need to come to an end, a culmination, the closing of the cycle, being full moons representing those things, right, and being in our first house, being in that Aquarian first house, what is it about our relationship to ourselves that needs to die out? What shadow aspect? And, sometimes this energy can be a lot of fun, but we have an opportunity to actually meet someone where they're at and be a king and be on par, right, with somebody. But in that throwing out of the ultimatum, it's not comfortable for us. We don't like that. And in that energy, right, of being detached or in being aloof, there is some kind of control. There is some kind of control, and I've said this before, especially to a lot of of my girlfriends who date and, who, there are benefits, right? When you're emotionally unavailable, it's seen as attractive, and there are benefits, right, to being emotionally unavailable, especially, and I'm going to say this and be real about it, especially if you're a dude, right? If you're a guy, if you identify as a man, if you, identify, masculine of center, or more engaged with your masculine energy, to be emotionally unavailable, there are rewards in that. To be seen as a sort of swift and fast and detached and aloof energy is very attractive, and and is seen as being really kind of ooh, mysterious, and this person wants really nothing to do with me, and how can I get them to want something to do with me? And there is that, there is a control. There is some kind of, I don't want to say power, but that's kind of what it is, right? There is, you know, and I've been with people who are emotionally unavailable, and I myself have been emotionally unavailable in relationships. And then I sit and I'm like, well, how come I can't have all the things? It's like, well, you know, you're actually getting back what you're projecting out into the ether. But right, like if I can stay here in this energy and act like I give zero fucks about whoever this hand may represent or whatever this hand may represent, then the less thirsty I can look, the cooler I can be, or like, you know, the more. And it's just like at some point that game, that energy has to go. That game, that way of doing things, that way of doing relationships has to go. It's gotta go. It's gotta go. Yeah, because like the rewards that you may get for being here, for being an emotionally unavailable person, it's temporary. And it really only is about feeding the ego, right? But like what happens when you actually open up, and allow that? So now we have these cards. We have the Queen of Cups. And this all I shuffled while I was at work in the mountains, and I did not shift it or change it. You can look back at the clip. We have the Wheel of Fortune, and then the Ace of Wands, right? And I definitely see these as representing like a change, right? Being brought about by that new moon in Leo, right? That new beginning, that new fire energy that needs to come through. But this Queen of Cups, you know, and I read this again as, you know, the Aquarian, right, being asked to really observe what is in this cup, right? Getting really in touch and in tune with your emotions, getting really, and right, and like we're the water bearers, right? So we carry this, and people always think that we're water signs, but we're not. We're air signs, right? Because we keep that water locked away. We do not allow ourselves to be immersed in that water that we carry, right? We carry, you know, this vessel of water, and we carry it on our back. So it's like we're so willing, again, I'm so sorry. So it's like we're so willing to, and that's why I said like sometimes Aquarius can have a very similar sort of self-sacrificing type of energy, as like the martyr, right? As like Virgo and even, you know, Capricorn, and we're both ruled by Saturn, right? In different ways, like different aspects, kind of like how, you know, Geminis and Virgos are ruled by Mercury, but in kind of different ways, right? But, you know, as the water bearers, we carry like this water vessel on our backs, and that water jug, that vessel represents the pain, the emotions, the experiences, you know, the feelings, all of, you know, of humanity, right? And like we carry that, but we don't allow ourselves to really engage in it. Like we don't really put our hands in it. We don't open it. We don't even open it to like, we just carry it, but we don't really have any relationship but beyond that. And I definitely feel that this Queen of Cups, you know, she's looking at it. She's looking at this vessel, right? And that Aquarian archetype, we're carrying the vessel. But like I said before, there's a mission that we're trying to fulfill, but we're fulfilling it from a platform of not, you know, allowing ourselves to dig deeper, of not allowing ourselves to become immersed in what that vessel may hold. And I believe that this Queen of Cups wants to become immersed in that, you know, because what she finds is she finds this. She finds that there is still, you know, she finds that there is still pain. She finds that there is still old wounds, that there are still old ways of thinking, right? These swords representing thoughts. There are still old ways of thinking about love, right? That actually really hurt us. And so, and in that pain, right? It's easiest to kind of stick around and be here. You know, I definitely, like, what is, you know, while we have been able to reconnect with this fiery, fun Knight of Wands energy, right? Like, while we've been able to regain some control over, like, our emotional state, right? Like, you know, this energy, it's still here, but I don't feel that it's as powerful, right, as it once was, right, for a lot of us. But even though we've been able to kind of recapture, you know, our old selves, our old sense of being, and, you know, carefree and, like, fun and friendship, and yeah, let's go out and have, you know, like even though, like, there's still some of this, there's still some observing, right? Like, because in this vessel, right, there still lives some old ways of thinking, and some definite, you know, some pain is still there, right? And it, especially regarding love, especially because, you know, a lot is happening in our 7th house as well. We have that Leo new moon in the 7th house. And, you know, Leo asks for new ways of expressing, asks for new creativity, new romance, new, you know, like, what are new ways? What are new and refreshing and expressive and open-hearted ways, right, that we can engage, right, romantically with people? Because being here is like, this is not really a Leo type of energy, right? Leos, at least the Leos that I have in my life, I've never had people in my life ever tell me, you know, how much they love me or how great they think I am, or just be so open-hearted with me. You know, Leos are just so open-hearted and warm. And they're not afraid to go there, right? They're not afraid to actually look this cup in the face and be like, oh, like, what are you? Let's see what's going on, right? Because there's confidence, right? It's also a very confident kind of archetype, you know, and so in kind of looking at these energies, right? In engaging with this Queen of Cups, emotional sensitivity, allowing this to flow through openly, you know, how does this usher in some changes in the way that we express ourselves, in the way that we kind of go after, right? The ways that we, because, you know, again, when we kind of get stuck in this space of, I'm just going to be emotionally unavailable, or I'm just going to try and look as, like, not thirsty as possible, and, like, I give 0 fucks, right? When we try to be in that energy, we end up sort of muting ourselves in a lot of ways. We end up not allowing ourselves to express and to you know, take action and to go forth and chase the things that we want, because there's fear that if I actually chase what I want, if I actually give hints that there is something that I am so passionate about, that I want so badly, I might look stupid, or, you know, I might trip myself up, or so it's, like, always kind of safest to, like, be here. And for a lot of people, you know, it's a very Aquarian kind of thing. Like, I remember I was watching a YouTube video, and the topic was what an Aquarian does. How do you know an Aquarius likes you? And everything, of course, I was like, yeah, okay. And then the last one was, you know, an Aquarius likes you when an Aquarius shows up at an event that you're at, and talks to everybody else but you. Like, that's how you know an Aquarius. And I was like, yeah, that's something that I do all the time. That the person that I actually really am like, oh man, that person I'm like, oh no, you don't exist. And the more that I pretend that you don't exist, the better everything will be, right? So it's like that very typical, like, yeah, if you know an Aquarius likes you, they show up at an event that you're at, and we'll talk to everybody in the circle, your friends, your mom, your brother, like we'll talk to everybody else but you. Chances are there is this desire to like, there is this like, oh God, if I actually were to do something about it, right? But I feel like doing something about it, changing the way in which you know, let's clarify this. I want to clarify these two cards, right? Nine of Cups at the bottom. Confidence in what you have. Confidence in the wishes, right? Aquarius, the 11th house, that star card being us, right? Our hopes and dreams and our wishes. What you're hoping for and you're dreaming for and you're wishing for is valid. It's valid and it's meaningful and you get to ask for it. You just have to believe that you're worth it. Like this person in this card very much believes that they are worthy of the very thing that they're asking for, of what they're wishing for. So if you don't believe that you aren't worthy of you know, all of the things that you've placed in your vortex, or, you know, vortex meaning all of the things that you've told the universe that you desire, especially when it comes to love in a relationship, right? And this 7 of Cups, 7th house, right? I'm seeing, I don't know. Call me conspiracy theorist. I see the connections. Like, you know, that vortex being that thing that it's like, oh, and I want this relationship and I want it to be really beautiful and I want this is, you know, I want this and I want that and I want an emotionally available partner and I want a partner who is into this and we have, you know, and we grow together and we build together and we, you know, like all of the things that you tell the universe that you want, you actually can have. I'm talking about love and relationships, right? But we actually have to believe and stand firm in what we've placed in all of these cups, right? And again, 7 of Cups also still representing the illusions and the delusions that we've created for ourselves, right? So if there are some delusions or some illusions that we've created for ourselves and what we think we can or can't have, rethinking those, like rethink, you know, really ask yourself, is this desire reasonable, right? Or is it, you know, is this desire reasonable? Is this a desire in alignment with reality at the same time, right? But I want to clarify this Wheel of Fortune and this Ace of Wands. So can I get clarification for the Wheel of Fortune and the Ace of Wands? Why are they here for Aquarius? This video feels like it's lagging. If it's lagging, I'm sorry. You can give me a thumbs down for the lag. Ooh, I think that was, yeah. 2 of Swords. Sorry, it's glary. Changes come when the blindfold comes off. That's what I just heard. There's this woman, this person is wearing a blindfold, right? And is very much holding on to, once again, there is this holding on to. There's like some swords that y'all are holding on to. There are some thoughts, there's some ruminating, there's some like back and forth sort of thoughts that are being held on to. And, you know, and it's good. We start out with the 9 of Swords, then we get to the 3 of Swords, and now we have this 2 of Swords, right? So, I mean, in my, okay, so we're getting the swords are slowly, you know, going away. But as long as we hang on to them, we're blind. And we continue to, all right, I see it now. So, you know, this representing a cycle that continues to repeat itself, right? Ups and downs, things just keep going round and round and round and round and round. So it's like, there is like, okay, I can either continue, right? This is also about choices and like a stalemate between two different options. So it's like I can either continue to engage in this same sort of cyclical pattern, right? Of whatever this sword represents, or I can take a new sword, right? Being a sword, coming, leading into, right, our future, leading into what comes next, right? Or I can lean into something completely and totally new in how I deal with love and relationships. So yeah, that's what that was. That's what that's what I feel this represents. And so let's pull an outcome card for Aquarius for August 2017. Let's do an outcome card. Outcome for Aquarius, August 2017. Outcome for Aquarius, August 2017. Okay. Three of Pentacles. I think this is a great card. I definitely see this as the beginning stages, right? Of like, okay, I definitely see a move towards creating a sturdier foundation, right? With this Tower card, it's all about eliminating those foundations that do not work for us, that do not serve us in our highest good. And I see, right, like an actual legitimate foundation being created. And I definitely feel that this foundation is something that can be created with whatever King energy, King of Wands energy, right? And you'll know, right, if this is an actual person, right, or an energy. It could be a person, it could be, a choice between a responsibility that would allow you, like, two responsibilities or two choices that would allow you to either run from responsibility or actually stand with it, and tackle it and fearlessly, right? So whatever, this King represents for you, I definitely feel that, that energy, building something with that stability, like these two kings coming together to create, right? To meet and to build an actual legitimate foundation. And I just see new foundations being built regarding self, regarding love. I mean, the relationship thing, it's also up to you to decide if you want to stop, this kind of aloof or this kind of like, I give zero fucks kind of mentality, which like, we want to pretend, like we think that we have it, but I mean, we are carrying all of these emotions and all of these feelings. It's impossible for us to operate and go through life without actually, looking at that vessel. Look at that vessel. Look at that water jug. Look at what you're carrying. And in that vessel, I do feel that you'll find the ability to actually create some sturdy foundations in some areas of your life where you felt that this energy and this energy and this energy have been going on for way too long. So that is your reading, Aquarius. Sorry again. I wish I could have done the whole thing in the mountains. But that's just kind of how it went down. But nonetheless, I hope you all have a good month. And if you want a personal reading with me, you can contact me at tattoosandtarot@gmail.com, or you can go to my website, which is tattoosandtarot.com, and click on the reading section. And yeah, I will see you all in September. Bye, Aquarians.